welcome back to Royal Fair Farms channel. If you remember from my original video for the Johnny Appleseed Organic Competition, my mom talked about her inspiration for gardening and how that came from my aunt. So we're here visiting my aunt and uncle, and I just wanted to take a little time to interview my Aunt Nadine, right here.
Hi.
And my mom is here. So how did you get into gardening?
Look, some of my earliest memories was probably when I was about 3, and my mom, I was in the back of a wagon, and my mom would go picking sweet corn in the garden that they had. And to this day, I can remember the smell of sweet corn as it's picked. It's a really good smell. And when we moved to town, we didn't have a garden, but we had flowers that grew around the house. And about the age of 5th grade, 6th grade, I got really interested in the flowers, how to grow them, the difference between biennial and annual, and started planting those. And every year I would be messing around, and I learned a lot about 4 o'clocks and wisteria and sweet William and tulips, and just really enjoyed that. And then when I was a freshman in high school, we turned on really bad times. My mom, being raised on a farm, had one of her brothers come and plow up part of our lot. We lived on a double city lot, and she went to work for the War on Poverty at the local town hall. That was a requirement to get help, federal help, and she showed me how to plant the seeds and what the seeds looked like when they came up. And then we would eat off of that garden along with the supplements that the government would give. And she would, on weekends, she would can or freeze anything that we had in there. So I really didn't like cooked vegetables. I could care less about them, but she wanted me to do that. So, and I liked growing them. Plants are really pretty. So I learned how to grow all kinds of plants, and I kept doing that in my college years. I grew flowers around the apartments that I lived. Sometimes I would have gardens, and I've been doing it ever since. One thing I did do when I was in high school, I wanted to point this out, is we didn't have a lot of money, but I babysat for extra money. So I bought this encyclopedia, 13-volume encyclopedia,
wow,
in the mail with my babysitting money, and I read every one of them. This isn't the way I garden now, but I learned a lot.
Oh, I see some blossoms on there.
This is an apricot. David backed into this. We used to buy mulch. He backed into it. I wasn't paying attention, and so it had died, but this is a sprout off of it. So, so it's going to bloom. And I'm hoping we'll have
That's how you kind of move your limbs around.
Is there, did your mom, did Grandma Mary teach you what the seedlings looked like when they came up because there was a mishap, or just because she didn't want them all getting pulled? Or
I think she didn't want them pulled along with the weeds.
is it your job to weed them?
You bet. Yeah, not my favorite job. As a child, you tend to dawdle on on chores, and so I didn't like weeding because I was doing it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the hot summer sun. I really enjoy weeding now, but I'm out there at 9 o'clock in the morning when the dew is fresh and the cool of the morning, and you can listen.
What would you say is your greatest success in gardening?
Getting others to garden. sharing my enthusiasm, and after a few years they realize that it isn't a passing fad with me, and I start meeting people that are interested in fresh food. They want to know how to do it, and they get inspired. And I think that's a big part of it, is being able to pass on knowledge that I have to people, and so they can create and enjoy too.
It's called Wine Crisp. Over there is the can. Yeah, more bamboo. Yep. This is Poe's yellow drop. And there is an apple tree. That is green sleeve. Have you heard of that, Janelle? Green sleeve? We got it in Illinois. Nice big green apples.
What are they good for?
Pie.
They're crisp tart, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in here I have some medicinal herbs. I also have gooseberries, sea berries.
I have gooseberries. I have a green gooseberry.
I got some more gooseberries over there.
Did you know before our video how much you had impacted Mom to garden?
Not that much. She talked to me about the contest you had been in, and that you interviewed her, and she made some remarks that I thought were very funny. And so we talked about that for a while.
Like?
Where she said, made an expression, her hippie sister, older sister. And I thought that was an interesting remark. So I asked her, not too long ago, both my husband and I had a friend that was talking to us, it was probably 6 years ago, and he wanted to know if we were hippies when we were younger. So I asked him, well, what do you consider a hippie? And he was real quiet. So I asked Sherry what she thought a hippie was. And so she told me.
What did you say, Mom?
Do you remember what you told me?
Well, one thing I did say, I don't think I'll say it on the tape here, but you were very active in the war in Vietnam, protesting. I don't know, your dress was not preppy. We lived in a town where there was a university. She was not a preppy type of person. She was just very down to earth. Wore her hair in pigtails, and she loved to garden, and she did it organically. And in my mind, hippie and organic go together.
Crunchy, they call it crunchy now?
Yeah, they call it crunchy now. And some people call me a crunchy mama because, they call me a crunchy mama because I care about what foods go in my kids' body. Of course, my kids are all grown now, but I grow my food. I know what kind of foods are going in my system, and I'm concerned about what other people eat also. And if they want to learn, I'm more than willing to help them. But a crunchy mama is the new term
For a hippie.
for a hippie.
I didn't know that. Wow,
Yeah.
I'm learning something new.
Yeah.
Crunchy mama.
So did you see yourself as a hippie back then?
No?
No.
No, I saw myself more as a political activist. I was involved in civil rights on the university campus, getting more black students and black professors on the campus. And, this was Johnson era, early Nixon, and so the civil rights laws were going in, and expecting to see some change in people's lives that way. And then I wasn't real big on the Vietnam War, but I did go to Washington, D.C., walk down Pennsylvania Avenue protesting with some of my friends. Nonviolent protest, I will say. We were always peaceful. And I just saw myself as an activist. I didn't really see myself as a hippie, but that, I think it's funny. I might, as I look back on it now, maybe I was. I don't know. I mean, I fit Sherry's definition, so.
That's a question we should put on the internet. When do you harvest fruit? Then these are thornless blackberries, and we have already given out a lot. In the fall, I cut these and prune them just the way you're supposed to, and they just grew and grew, and so I have to prune them again. Yeah, I see that it's like, yeah, they grew this. Yeah. And then the next row is black raspberries. They aren't doing very well compared to the red. Compared to the way they did it. I don't know if it's or what, but they had plenty of manure put on them and everything. And
all right. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2.